If you are not in a high frequency, it becomes extremely difficult to dominate the day and achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. Now, you can imagine being at a high frequency as if you're just walking outside on a perfect day playing your favorite music. You can imagine that feeling of the sun just hitting your skin. It just feels warm, but it's not too hot out. The song that's playing just keeps a smile on your face. You just feel in rhythm while you're walking. You're extremely present wherever you're at, wherever you are, whoever you're with. This is what being in a high frequency feels like. It feels like you are in alignment and that you are able to accomplish anything that you set for yourself. Anything that comes up will flow perfectly into your life and you will be capable of handling it. And so it's so important that we understand how to get ourselves into this high frequency, because this isn't some unattainable state that you need to meditate 8 hours a day for or become a monk to understand, or that you need to self-medicate yourself to be able to finally feel like. It's something you can feel. It's something you can put yourself in a position to feel. And so we simply just need to figure out, how can we create a life that promotes a high frequency? How can we create an internal state that creates a high external state, and use this to absolutely dominate our goals and crush everything that we set for ourselves and crush our day? And so, what is frequency? What is energy? What is vibration? Because we say these words and I can describe it to you, but that doesn't give you the full picture. It doesn't really tell you what these things are and give you the universal understanding of them. And so that's what we have, the 3 universal laws for frequency, so you can understand what it truly is. And then we're going to dive into how you can actually begin taking steps to cultivate a high frequency to dominate your day. So number 1 is you must understand that everything is energy. Every thought, every emotion, every action vibrates at a specific frequency. And on the right side here, you can check out the frequency chart and see the different emotions that we can feel. At the top here, at high frequency, to where we feel that good energy, we feel like we can dominate, we feel like we can focus and we're energized. These high level emotions, we can condition ourselves to stay at these higher level emotions. And the more you stay there, the easier it becomes to return there. And so when you're in a constant state of enlightenment, peace, joy, love, reason, it becomes so much easier to return here. But when you're in a constant state of shame, guilt, apathy, and these lower emotions, it becomes so much harder to return to these states. And so it's really important that we understand that everything we do, every thought that we have, every emotion we have, every action we take has a frequency, an emotional energy charge to it. And so we must understand what that is. Second, just like how some people energize you while others drain you, it all depends on their frequency. Depending on the type of people that you're around, the more likely you are to embody the same frequency. If I'm around a lot of people who are constantly ashamed of themselves, they're sad, they're afraid, I'm going to adopt that frequency. There's certain people that are just constantly worrying, and when you're around them, you start to worry. There's people that are constantly angry, and when you're around them, you start to feel angry. It's because we adopt the frequency of the people that we're around, unless we are content and we are balanced in the frequency of a higher state. And so it's really important that we understand the people that we're around and how their frequency affects ours. And finally, additionally, we only track experiences that match our frequency. And so you need to be on a certain frequency to be able to experience an event, experience something in your environment that reflects that frequency. And so I cannot experience anger unless I choose to be angry. Unless I have thoughts that bring me into a state of anger, I cannot experience anger. Because if I'm at love, if I'm at joy, if something angry tries to come into my frequency, it simply will not match because I'm not at that frequency. You can only track experiences that are on the frequency that you're already on. So unless you lower yourself to a certain frequency, you cannot feel these negative emotions. You only feel these negative emotions when you choose to lower your frequency to them to match the experience. And so it's really important that we understand everything is energy in this world. So that's the first law. Second is we are primarily controlled by our subconscious mind. I'm sure you've kind of heard talks about this, but it's said that 90 to 95% of our mind is controlled by the subconscious mind. Well, what does this mean? What is the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind stores your beliefs, habits, past experiences, which shape your automatic behaviors and filter how you perceive the world. And so the beliefs that you hold, the things you hold to be true, you can almost imagine your opinions, the habits that you have, the automatic functions of your body that it uses to get things done efficiently, and past experiences, everything that's happened in your past, the way you label it, the way that it is shaped in your mind, and how you use it going forward in your life is determined by the subconscious mind. And so it's extremely important that when we're trying to change our frequency, when we're trying to become the higher version of ourselves, we're not just trying to control how the conscious mind thinks, but we're reprogramming the subconscious mind. Because as you can see here, if 90% of how we operate, how we think, how we feel, the actions that we take are programmed into our subconscious mind, we need to learn how to reprogram it if we want to change the frequency that we're on a consistent basis. And so, the thoughts that shape your emotions, the emotions fuel your actions, and the actions generate the results you see in your life. And so it all starts with understanding this pattern that when we master our thoughts, we'll shape our emotions better. When we shape our emotions better, we change the actions. And when we change the actions, we generate the results that we see in our life. It starts internally in our subconscious mind through reprogramming that we then change everything outside of ourselves. There's no environmental change that's going to make a bigger impact on your frequency than the change you can make inside of yourself. And so we want to focus on reprogramming the subconscious mind, understanding how energy influences the world around us and our internal state so that we can begin to cultivate a better frequency. And third is you attract what you are, not what you want. This is extremely important. And I'm going to explain the mirror principle on the right side here in a moment, but I just want to go through some of these notes really quick. Your energy and identity determine what you attract, not your desires. It does not matter what you put out there that you want. It matters what you reflect that you want. Where is your energy? What is the frequency that you're on? What is the identity you're embodying? Because that's what you will attract. If you put out into the world, oh, I want to experience love, but all you experience internally is anger, you are going to attract anger into your life. The world does not care about how you organize these thoughts. It matters about the content. And so when you put a request out there with an angry energy, you're going to attract anger. When you put a request out there, when you ask for something, but you do it from a state of shame, you're only going to continue attracting these things. It starts with changing our frequency and identity so that we can begin to attract new experiences into our life that we want. And so when we want to attract something, we need to be in that state so that we can continue attracting more of it. And so to manifest your goals, we need to align our thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you want, because that is frequency alignment. When our thoughts are in alignment, it's easier for us to control our emotions. When we're able to shape and control our emotions, we're able to determine the fuel that we use for the action that we take. And when we're a master over the fuel for the action that we take, we can take the action that is necessary for us to dominate the day and crush our goals. And so when we begin to master these things, which we're going to go through this process together, don't worry, you will be able to align with the higher version of yourself who will give you the power to dominate the day and crush your goals. And so, the universe reflects your internal state, so align with what you want to receive. Again, important, internal state. Nothing outside of you is as important as the internal state that you hold within yourself. That's why when we talk about frequency, we're going to talk a lot about holding your frequency, being able to control your levels of frequency, because when you have control over that internal state, your frequency cannot drop lower. Your frequency cannot get pulled down by those trying to drain you. It is uplifted by the thoughts, feelings, and actions that we are taking and feeling internally. And so the mirror principle essentially describes this. It helps us understand that anything that we give to the world will be reflected back to us. What we feel internally will be reflected externally. And so physically, we put out that which we want, and the world is simply a mirror. And underneath this mirror, it is shaped by the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that we have about the world, about everything around us, about ourselves, and that will be reflected to us. And so, when I believe certain things about myself, when I believe I'm a loser, the world is going to reflect that. When I believe I'm undeserving, the world is going to reflect that. But when I believe I'm deserving, when I believe I'm worthy of love, when I believe things easily come to me, the world will reflect that. So it's extremely important to keep that in mind as we go forward with this. And so these are the three universal laws. Quickly summarize, everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions all vibrate a certain energy. Even music, like we talked about, changes your frequency. And so we must understand everything is energy, and where our focus goes, our energy flows. And so we want to control our focus. We are primarily controlled by our subconscious mind. Understanding that when we want to make change, it's not just changing our conscious mind, but reprogramming our subconscious mind, which we're going to go into how we do, but we need to understand the importance of the subconscious mind and its control over how we perceive our environment, over the habits that we have, how we view our past experiences, and how we view our identity. As well as you attract what you are, not what you want. We need to change what we are putting out there through our internal state, and that's what will be reflected in our external state. Remember, the world is a mirror. It's simply reflecting that which you believe to be true. And so, how do we make it so we spend more time up here in enlightenment, peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance, and less time down there? Because so many people get this genius cynical view to where they believe the world is filled with so much pain. And this is what I believed. I believed everything was pain, everything was suffering, so there was no reason to try and feel these better emotions. But feeling these better emotions does not make you weaker as a person. It does not make you dumber, it does not make you ignorant. It actually makes you the real you. We only have this one life. We only have this one chance to live. And so why wouldn't we want to spend it at the highest levels of emotions that allow us to produce the best things we can produce outside of ourselves because we feel so good within? When the internal version of yourself is at its highest state, the external world is going to be at its highest potential you can have. And so how do we begin to dominate the day and maximize our potential through our frequency? Well, there's two fundamental states that we need to understand. The scarcity mindset, which is that low vibrational state, which is all these emotions down here: apathy, grief, desire, anger, pride, as well as abundant mindset, which is peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance. We want to be in an abundance mindset. We want to be in a high vibration. Yet so many of us are stuck in a low vibrational mindset. And so we need to understand the difference between the two so that we can make this transition over into a high vibration mindset. So, scarcity mindset. What does a scarcity mindset look like? Well, it's focused on what's lacking. It's focused on everything you don't have. It's looking at everything that is not currently how you want it to be. And so maybe I don't have that money. Maybe why is it so hard for me to hit that goal? Why does that person look better than I do? Why are they taller than I am? It's the opposite of focusing on everything that you have. It's focused on everything you don't have. They see problems everywhere, constantly finding reasons why things aren't good enough. Is afraid of losing what they already have, so they're unwilling to take risks. They're unwilling to trust in themselves because they're scared of being less than they already are. Their views unexpected events as negative. They don't like coincidences. They don't like surprises because they view them as negative. And so they're constantly worried about unexpected things that are outside of their plans. They are lacking in faith and trust. And so they're constantly worried, scared of losing. Example, seeing a Rolex, seeing that nice watch, maybe going into that watch store and thinking, I can never afford that. You're telling yourself these things. You are reinforcing these beliefs, which then keep you in this low vibrational state of anger, of desire, of fear. You are afraid of losing. You are ashamed that you are not better. You are angry that you don't have what everybody else has. And so this keeps you stuck in a low vibrational state. And so what does this look like on a day-to-day basis? Well, say for example, you wake up and your dominant thoughts immediately are, I'm so tired and I don't feel like it. I'll just sleep in a little longer because it's not that important. Well, what's the frequency in action? Because our thoughts then fuel our emotions and our emotions fuel our actions. Well, our frequency and our emotions are guilt, frustration, and apathy. We feel guilty that we just didn't wake up. We couldn't do what we said we were going to do. We're frustrated because it's so hard because we can't hold our word to ourselves. We feel bad for ourselves. We feel sad for ourselves. And so we hit snooze repeatedly and skip the planned morning routine, which then only reinforces this. And so when we fail to complete the habit, our subconscious belief that we're reinforcing is that I can't follow through on my goals. I'm not disciplined. Even if you don't say this to yourself consciously, you are reinforcing it unconsciously because you set a goal for yourself, you aren't able to hit it, and then what ends up happening? You're reinforcing the fact that you're not capable. And so when you believe you're not capable, you feel behind for the rest of the day, reinforcing the belief of being unproductive, which then makes it impossible for you to dominate the day because you are self-sabotaging yourself. And so it's important that we change to a high vibrational state, an abundance mindset, so that we can change these things and operate at the highest version of ourselves. And so what does this abundance mindset look like? Well, they see opportunity everywhere. They're not worried about losing because they're constantly focused on what they could gain. They're focused on receiving more. They understand the universe is abundant and constantly working to give to them. And so when they think like this, they're looking for more opportunities to grow as a person. They view challenges as lessons for learning because they are willing to accept challenges and blessings. They're grateful for everything. And so if we're grateful for our challenges, why wouldn't you be grateful if you're grateful for your blessings, why wouldn't you be grateful for your challenges? We view them as lessons so that we can learn. The only L I take is lessons to learn. We operate from a place of possibility. We're not operating from a place of doubt of what if I can't. It's what if I can. Constantly operating from a state of what if I am capable. What would I do if I had already done this? Operating from as if it has already been achieved and as if I am capable. You are responsible for identifying the identity that you identify with. You get to choose how you view yourself. And so the person that tells himself, well, because of my past, because I've always been incapable, I've never succeeded, I won't be able to succeed in the future, is simply operating from a belief. This belief is just a table. It's a table that they propped up with legs of old evidence. I've never been able to succeed. I don't believe myself. I don't think I'm the best. They give themselves these excuses. They use them as evidence to prop up the table so that they can hold this belief that they are not capable, that it is not possible for them. You simply need to start questioning, are these really true? Are these really real evidence that you need to be upholding on this table? Start doubting the bad beliefs. Start doubting whether they're actually true. Is it true that you're actually incapable, that you've never been able to win, or have you never really tried? Is it true that you don't have the possibility to succeed? Or is it simply that you're just viewing everything that could go wrong instead of viewing everything that could go right? We need to start questioning these negative beliefs. So many people will question the positive beliefs, question it because they think that's what reality is, and then never achieve anything. You really need to question the negative beliefs, the ones that are holding you back, because again, you have one life to live and you need to choose how you're going to live it. And so they operate from a place of possibility because they're constantly looking at what can be instead of looking at what can't be. Views unexpected events as blessings, understands that the universe is constantly trying to give to them, constantly trying to help them receive more in their life. And so they're looking for the blessings in their life. They're finding the blessings in unexpected events. An example, walking into a luxury car dealership, broke, but knowing someone's buying it, why not me? Even if they're not at the place they want to be, even if you are broke, you can operate in an abundance mindset, in a high vibration. You don't have to operate from scarcity because you aren't already abundant. When you start feeling abundant, viewing yourself as abundant, which we're going to walk through how to do so, you will start being abundant. It's about the internal state which creates it externally. You can't operate from scarcity and expect yourself to become abundant. It starts inside of you and then starts to show itself outside of you. It reflects. And so, what does this look like on a day-to-day basis? Well, someone with an abundant mindset wakes up early. Their dominant thoughts are, getting up now will set me up for success today. This is their belief. I'm the type of person who easily wakes up early. This is their identity. What does that look like in their frequency and action? Well, they operate from joy, love, determination. They're excited to wake up every day. They love themselves for doing what they tell themselves they're going to do. They've created the identity of the highest version of themselves. And so they get out of bed despite being tired and start their morning routine because those good feelings fuel the better action, which started with the good thoughts. The thoughts fuel the emotion and the frequency, which then fuel the action. And so what does this then look like? Looks like this didn't change. Imagine it says complete the habit. Well, I'm capable, I'm consistent, I prioritize what matters. These are the beliefs being reinforced. The action then reinforces the subconscious belief, which then affects our thoughts and it's this giant loop here. And so the subconscious belief is reinforced, and the outcome is we continue to build momentum and confidence for the day, reinforcing the discipline, which then helps you dominate the day. It's that simple. He changed his thoughts, which fueled the emotion, which then fueled the action, which then helped reprogram the subconscious mind, gave him the outcome he desired, and then is going to fuel more action through better thought, better emotions, and continue the cycle. Obviously, this has to start somewhere. You can't just jump in the middle of here. We need to start by reprogramming our subconscious belief in a way without it always starting with just action. Of course, taking action is the easiest way, but how do we start all this when we can't just immediately jump into action? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. What steps do we need to take to raise this frequency, raise this vibration, so that we can begin to operate as this higher version of ourselves with a higher vibration and actually begin to crush the day? Well, there's 5 steps of implementation that I want to talk about, and then after which we're going to talk about 1 easy action step you can take every morning so that you can begin taking action on all of this. 1 is inner awareness. So your inner awareness is your current reality, reflects your dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Scarcity focused patterns, aka I'm not lucky, limit growth, while abundance focused patterns open new opportunities. Awareness of these limiting beliefs and emotional habits is the first step towards transformation. We need to be aware of the thoughts that we're having, of the emotions that we're feeling on a consistent basis. If you're having these thoughts simply just slip by in your mind that, well, I'm not good enough, so I can't do that. Oh, well, what if it doesn't go good? And we continuously let these beliefs slip by, it's going to continue the negative cycle of negative emotions because we're pulling ourselves down, we're spiraling lower, and then that creates bad action. We start to avoid the action we know we should be taking, avoid doing the habits, avoid the workouts, avoid the business work. And then that reinforces the subconscious belief that we don't believe we're good enough and continues the cycle. So we need to start by breaking this. We break this by being aware. So how do we become more aware? Well, observe and journal on your daily thoughts, emotions, beliefs to identify patterns. Start to look at the thoughts that you're having. What ends up happening when you wake up in the morning and you look at your phone? The thoughts that you start having because of that, are they negative? What does that negative thought spiral into? You need to begin studying your life. And I love talking about this. Everybody wants to study the lives of everybody else, but they won't study their own life. They won't study their own habits. They won't study their own thoughts. Stop always worrying about how someone else became successful and just look at what is holding you back from being successful. You don't need some special tactic. You don't need some special sales skill or some special marketing tool or some special maxim or philosophy. It can help, but ultimately, it really just starts with your patterns, the patterns that you do on a day-to-day basis. And so how do we become aware of these things? By looking for them, by simply telling ourselves every single day and just watching ourselves, watching the thoughts that we have, and really trying to understand them. Like I mentioned with these beliefs, until we start questioning these things, it'll continue to hold up that table. That negative belief table can only be knocked down when we take out the legs. And the way we take out the legs is through questioning and doubting the negative beliefs instead of questioning and doubting the positive ones. And so let's start taking a look at these things. Once we identify these thoughts and these beliefs that are negative, the negative emotions, we need to reframe the scarcity-based beliefs into empowering ones. Things always work out for me. Instead of sitting here and telling ourselves, well, what if I don't complete this sale? Let's cut that off right there. That's a negative belief. It's a limiting belief. What can we do to reframe that to raise our frequency? We can tell ourselves the new abundance-based belief. Instead of telling ourselves, what if the sale doesn't work out for me? What if we tell ourselves, I always show up as the best version of myself to all of my sales calls and put my all into it? We tell ourselves these things. These are the new beliefs. We simply reframe them, write them down, and continuously reprogram our subconscious mind with this. The more we tell ourselves these things, the more we begin to believe them as true, and then they will then be shown to you in the world around you. The more you believe it to be true, and when we mix it with emotion, which we're going to talk more about, they begin to show themselves in the world around you. And so we reframe them. Note areas of alignment or misalignment with abundance to identify where change is needed. Again, just keep taking notes on these things. Study your own life. Watch the habits during your day. You may notice opening your phone in the morning then makes it harder for you to work in the afternoon. There's a certain breakfast that you eat that then makes you tired in the afternoon. There's when you wake up, you're having thoughts of, I kind of just want to go back to bed. Let's reframe those thoughts. What are the new beliefs about waking up? And the more we do these things, the more we reframe and create the identity and beliefs of the person who's able to dominate the day and crush their goals. So 1, recognize, reframe your limiting beliefs, patterns to align with abundance and growth. Simple explanation for you. 2nd, vision/clarity. So clarity about your ideal self helps align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your goals. A high vibration person embodies qualities like gratitude, confidence, and abundance. Your vision acts as a roadmap, guiding decisions and habits toward a life of fulfillment. So essentially, we need to understand who the person we're trying to become is. So we're studying our current life, but we're also creating an ideal of our future self, what I like to call our self-ideal, creating a roadmap so that all we need to do is follow and embody this person. We don't need to come up with the steps day to day. We don't need to think about what we're doing. We're following the already laid out path of becoming the best version of ourselves and constantly tweaking with awareness the beliefs that we have to act in alignment with this person. So the action that you take is define the traits, define the habits of your ideal self, aka they could be calm under pressure, they could focus on what they have control over, they only focus on what they have responsibility over, consistently energetic and productive. Describe who this person is in as much detail as possible. You can even describe the life that they have, the business that they have, the relationships that they have. The more you describe different areas, the better it will come into your reality. The more clarity you have around it, the better it'll be represented in the world around you. An example of this is when I was growing my first business to $50,000 a month. I wrote that number down, but I wasn't as clear as I needed to be on what everything around that business looked like. And so when eventually I got it, there were some things that weren't what I expected them to be because I lacked clarity. And so the more clarity we have, the better we'll come into reality because that's what you'll align with. So we can also use visualization to rehearse living as this person. This is an easy way for us to reprogram the subconscious mind. We can imagine ourselves taking action because your mind does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. And so when we imagine something, ourselves doing the action, it works just as well as actually doing it for creating evidence and reprogramming the subconscious mind. A good example of this is if you wanted to begin waking up early every single day. The best thing you could do is rehearse it every single day, multiple times a day, seeing yourself waking up and getting out of bed. Because you can only wake up and get out of bed 7 times a week. You only have 7 chances to reprogram the subconscious mind. But if you were to even visualize it 3 times a day for 5 minutes at each point, once in the morning, once in the midday, once in the afternoon, you would not only have those 7 times getting out of bed, but an additional 21 times you rehearsed doing the action. And so when you go to do it, you've seen yourself do it so many times that you feel like you've already done this action and this habit for a whole month because you've accumulated so many rehearsals in your mind. Because again, the mind does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. And so it's extremely important that if we want to begin reprogramming the subconscious mind, the fast track to doing this is seeing it in your mind, playing the images. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at it, the clearer the images will be, and the more emotion you'll be able to mix with this. It's really important that we mix emotion with it. And we're going to talk about that. So regularly review and refine your vision, ensure it aligns with your evolving values and aspirations. Every single month, take a look at this vision. Make sure you're going over it, changing it. I would say read over the vision every day in the morning, or at least a few times a week. And then every month, do a deep dive of making sure the goals are still aligned, making sure there's no new beliefs you need to add, new habits you want to add, new ideas of this person you're going to be. Because the more you begin to act like them, the new ideas you're going to get for what this person looks like down the line in the next 1, 5, 10 years. And so, vision clarity. Define and embody the traits, habits, and emotions of your ideal high vibration self to guide your transformation. This is just your roadmap. It's simply your plan to become this person. Third is mental reprogramming. Now, this is kind of similar to the visualization that we talked about, but we're going to dive deeper into it here. Your subconscious mind stores beliefs and habits that shape your reality. Like we talked about, it basically stores your identity. So releasing old patterns and installing new beliefs creates space for growth. Again, we're knocking out the legs of the old beliefs so that we can build the table of the new belief, which is propped up on new evidence that we're creating. Visualization and emotion are powerful tools to impress new programming into your subconscious mind. And so how do we do this? Well, identify and release limiting beliefs, aka once we identify them through our awareness. So say for example, a belief I recognized through my awareness was making money is hard. We can replace them with empowering affirmations such as making money is natural. We need to also understand when we're recreating these beliefs that it does not matter if you believe it to be true or not. Whatever you tell yourself is true, you will believe to be true. And so even if right now you don't believe the belief is true, we are going to change it. You could have believed your entire life that I am not sexy, I am not good looking. We can simply change that belief to I am sexy, I am good looking by propping up new legs under that table with new evidence and knocking out the legs of the old table by questioning them. Maybe I believed I wasn't sexy for my entire life because somebody told me, being good looking was something only evil people did. Maybe it's something that snobs do, and I don't want to be a snob. And so I believe good looking people are snobs. I believe that looking sexy is not modest. I believe all of these negative things about it. And then when I want to become sexy, when I tell myself, well, maybe I should change that. Maybe I have to create new evidence and then change those old ones. Maybe not all good looking people are mean. Maybe being good looking isn't unmodest. Maybe it's simply you can still cover yourself up but still believe you're sexy, and so we can change these beliefs. It's simply questioning the negative and then propping up the positive. Create a detailed alter ego representing your ideal traits and embody this identity daily. That's very similar to the vision clarity that we just talked about. We basically create this alter ego and we're acting in alignment with them every day. And the more you act in alignment, the more you think like them, the more you feel like them, the more action you take like them, the more aligned you'll become, and the more you'll become them. Because this isn't a different person. This is simply you at your highest potential, the real you. And so all we're doing is becoming the real version of us, the version of us that loves, the version of us that's grateful, the version of us that is high frequency and dominates the day. So once we understand who this alter ego and ideal version is, we simply visualize them. See the scenes playing out in your mind of their life. Mix it with emotion. I'm going to talk about how you can mix this with emotion with the practice after we go through this 5 steps, but simply feel the emotion. If you see the future version of yourself giving money to your parents, feel how good that would feel. Feel proud of yourself. Feel the warm hug. See the smile appear on your face. You should feel it in your body, because when we mix emotion with imagination, we create what we believe to be real. And so we want to create more of these scenes so that we can operate as the highest version of ourselves and take that into our day. We're feeling the good feeling. We're seeing the good scenes. We're believing it to be true. And then we're operating as if it already was. Because the version of you who had already achieved this doesn't operate out of fear, operate out of lack. They operate out of abundance. And so as we do this, we raise our vibration. And this is really the key practice here, is this visualization to raise your vibration and then continuously keep it at this state and balance out our frequency. And so we use mental reprogramming through visualization. Reprogram your subconscious mind by replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones through visualization and emotional alignment, aka see the scenes in your mind, feel the feeling, operate as if it's already done. 4 is energy elevation. High energy attracts positive outcomes. Low energy reinforces struggle, just like we talked about with the 2 different archetypes. Gratitude, exercise, and supportive environment elevate and sustain your frequency. These are easy things you can do externally to continually reinforce your internal state of high frequency. Gratitude especially, because when you're grateful, you cannot be angry. You cannot be negative because you're expressing love. And so energy drains like negativity and toxic relationships hinder your ability to thrive. So you can probably see where we're going with this. Essentially, let's design an environment around us that supports a higher energy, starting each day with gratitude and physical movement to raise your vibration. I personally love reading in the morning. I wake up and spend 20 to 30 minutes reading, meditating, visualizing. It helps me get in a state of higher energy and allows me to absolutely dominate the day. I found this through constantly experimenting with what works for me. Eliminating energy drains is also a really important part. If you have people in your life, if you have toxic relationships, if you're watching the news, you have things you can cut out of your life that are only there to serve as a benefit. Of course, there are certain things we can't control, and this is not the main portion of what we're talking about. This is that extra 20% that you can do on top of the 80% that we've already done through changing ourselves internally and creating the new identity. And so, cutting out anything negative, anything that isn't supporting the higher version of yourself, only serves to benefit you. Get those angry people out of your life, those friends that are constantly complaining. Get off the news and everything that's not serving you as a person. And maintain high energy through proper nutrition, rest, and emotional awareness. Your health is a big portion of this. Staying in shape, eating good food, exercising really does play a big role. So if you have control over these things, I highly recommend looking into optimizing your health, eating better, getting more time outside, being in nature, getting sun on your skin really does play a huge role in these things as well, because when your body is operating at its best state, it's so much easier for your mind to do the same. Your brain is also an organ. I hope I'm not wrong in saying that. And so, raising your frequency, energy elevation, raise and sustain your frequency through gratitude, movement, positive influences, and energy management. One final point I want to mention on that is your posture plays a huge role as well. You see how my shoulders are back? I'm standing tall. I'm not crunched over. I'm not sitting in a chair all hunched over and whatever. Your posture plays a big role. If you're ever feeling down, if you're ever getting scared or anxious, set your shoulders back, puff your chest out, smile, and get excited. Move yourself, jump up and down, because it's a lot harder to feel anxious, be depressed, and feel these negative emotions when your body isn't reinforcing it. When I'm hunched over, when I'm on my phone, when my head's down, you know how much easier it is to start feeling the anxiety creep in. It's because I'm essentially creating a posture that is supporting it, that's supporting low emotion. When your shoulders are back, chest is up, and you're smiling, you feel naturally better. And finally is aligned action. Very simple. Action bridges the gap between your current state and your desired reality. We master our thoughts. We watch the thoughts that we're having, the beliefs that we have, to fuel emotions that fuel better actions. And now all we're doing is making sure the actions that we're doing are aligned with the future that we want. You should already kind of understand these actions based off the vision that we've created. You should understand the actions that you should be taking, the habits that you want to be doing, and all we're doing now is simply executing and applying them. Clarity emerges through consistent intentional effort, not before. So we get clearer on the things that we should be doing, the person that we should be, the more action that we take. action on changing our internal state, and action on becoming the person we need to be through the habits that we set up, through the action that we should take to reach our goals. Actions taken from abundance create opportunities and momentum for growth. And so that's why we take more actions, even if they are sometimes risks, because those oftentimes open up the biggest opportunities in our life. Doing it from the place of imagining you've already achieved it. And so, quick action on here. How to take action on action. Establish a structured daily routine. Habits like meditation, exercise, focused work sessions, morning and night routines are one of the biggest kind of changes you can make that play a huge role. Help you get better sleep. Help you wake up consistently at a good time to keep you energized throughout the day, which then create a structure for your life so that you can begin improving it. When there is no structured kind of routine, it's so much harder to stay consistent on these things because you're constantly varying when you're waking up, when you're going to sleep, what state you're waking up in, what state you're going to sleep in. Approach challenges and opportunities for growth, acting with confidence of your future self. Whenever you're going towards an opportunity, approach it as the version of you who believes in themselves, who is already a winner, who has this new identity. Because we don't want to approach it as the old self, because the old self wants to stay safe, wants to protect themselves, is afraid of not being loved, is afraid of losing. We're approaching it from the version of ourselves that's giving love, that experiences it, that has all that he already needs, and is simply just growing more and helping others. And take disciplined steps, consistently ensuring every action aligns with your vision and value. The consistency, the discipline, it builds over time the more you do it. That's why it's important that we build momentum through consistent action. And so finally, take that consistent, intentional action that reflects your vision and values to turn your goals into reality. So that was the full implementation guide. You don't really need to take huge notes on these things. Just note down little things that you're going to do throughout the day. Inner awareness could simply be a quick meditation in the morning. Vision clarity, it could be every month I'm going to sit and write out my goals and the person I want to be. Mental reprogramming, it could be I'm going to consistently meditate every day or consistently visualize for 5 to 10 minutes a day, or simply follow the next step that we're going to talk about through visualization. Raising your frequency, this could exactly be the same thing, just watching your energy. Every single week, writing out 1 or 2 things you're going to remove from your life that are going to help raise your energy. Sometimes the biggest portion of growth isn't adding things to our life, it's simply removing them. And aligned action, every week just define what are the actions you're going to take, the things you are going to stay consistent on, and execute on them. Keep track of them. And finally, there's morning mental priming. Now, this is kind of how you can begin using this subconscious reprogramming today. You can start today doing this, and it's really impactful. So it's super simple. There's 5 quick steps that you need to follow that make this possible. You can do it in as little as 5 minutes or do more like 15 minutes. It's really up to you. You start by simply relaxing your body. This is the first step anytime you're meditating. This is going to be more of a visualization, but we first want to start with relaxing the body. Recommend just breathe deeply in sets of 10, go in and out, exhale in and out, let your body relax, just feel everything kind of soften as you sink into a chair, or you may want to do it laying down. Recall and feel gratitude. We're going to start by finding a moment in our past that we already felt the positive emotion that we want to link to a future event. And so recall a moment you feel gratitude, a moment where you gave to someone gave to you, you connected with a loved one, any moment where you can feel extremely grateful for it looking back on it now. Find 3 of these meaningful moments in your life and just feel how good you feel seeing them play out. Just go through it. Just go through everything around you, your senses as you were in that moment, and feel that feeling. Then we want to visualize flowing through the new version of you. Visualize the light flowing through you, strengthening the version of you that you're trying to become. See the scenes play out, see your goals as already achieved as we do this as well. And so we already feel gratitude. We're seeing the light fill us as we continue to breathe in and out. And then we're seeing our goals play out. We're seeing the scenes as we go through the future version of ourselves. Maybe that's our future family as we get to take them on a trip. Maybe that's giving back to our parents. Maybe that's giving back to a partner, being able to do something for them. Maybe it's seeing ourselves abundant, seeing ourselves getting to travel. Whatever it is you have set out for yourself, whatever goals you have set, we're seeing them as if they're already done and mixing the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of being proud of ourselves for doing what we said we were going to do. and then relive and layer moments of pride, joy, and love like we talked about. Continue stacking these emotions. Continue to flip between seeing old memories of things that you were proud of, things that made you feel love, that made you feel joy, and then see those scenes again in the future. Link those emotions together, and it is going to massively raise your frequency when you do this correctly. There's a practice. This practice was created by Tony Robbins. If you want a walkthrough to do it together, which I highly recommend, just look up Tony Robbins priming. It is amazing. It will help raise your frequency and set you straight for the start of your day and help you dominate the day. And so there are a few final success principles that I want to run you through, just so you have these in mind as you are taking action on these things. Stick around, these are really important as well. Consistency over intensity. Don't focus on making massive change immediately. Make small changes over time that you're going to be able to stick to and do them consistently. Consistency always beats intensity. I would rather see you in 6 months still consistent on becoming the person you want to be than trying to do everything you need to do in 1 month and then falling off because it's too much. Second, your dominant frequency attracts corresponding experiences. We talked about this, but the frequency that you feel on a consistent basis is what is going to be shown to you in the world around you. And so we want to work to change our dominant frequency, change our base layer. The better you get at raising your frequency, the easier it's going to be to catch yourself when something's trying to spiral you down. It may start with being, for a day or two you feel sad and then you can pick yourself back up. It's going to go down to maybe 12 hours, maybe 6 hours, maybe an hour, and then you'll be able to control your frequency to where anything that starts to kind of throw you off, you're able to catch just like that. And so we want to continue practicing our dominant frequency even when things try and pull us down. We're not reaching for perfection here, we're reaching for better. And so just work on getting better every single day at this and being able to control the thoughts that you're having, which fuel those emotions, which fuel those actions, and control your frequency. And embrace your new self-concept 24/7. Continuously work to be this person. This is not I'm gonna only do the frequency meditation in the morning and then just work on autopilot for the rest of the day. We need to be aware. Step number 1 of implementation, internal awareness. Be aware of the thoughts that you're having, the beliefs you're holding, and how you're doing on a day by day. Create some sort of way to track this. I especially love tracking how I felt on a day. 1 out of 10, how did I feel today? And just seeing how I feel over a week's time, over a month's time, over 6 months' time to see the progress that I'm making really does help a lot. And so, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. This was how to become a high frequency person to achieve your goals and dominate the day. If you want a free step-by-step sheet on how you can practice this every single day with a link to that meditation that I also talked about, all you have to do is click the link in the description, join my newsletter, and I'll send you that sheet so you can begin following and practicing these things for yourself. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, also make sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you in another one of my videos. God bless.